YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with some more NFL Network's Top 100 reaction and comparison to my rankings video. Yeah. And once again, my rankings are just based off last year. They're not in general who the top 100 players are. I'm just getting ripped in the comments for some of my rankings, but I just don't think people are understanding it. You know, they're just looking for the big names, and I don't have the big name ranked super high or ranked at all. You guys are just ripping me a new one, but we're going through 30 down to 11. Can't wait for the top 10. We'll talk about who could be in the top 10 at the end as well. And then after we're through all the reaction videos, I will talk about the players that were on my list that did not make the list for NFL Network. Subscriber goal is at 40K by the end of this year. I'd be much appreciated if you can subscribe. If you already subscribed, we love you. But daily sports videos, full coverage in season. So you're going to want to join us for all that. Cannot wait for the season to start. Click that like button and check out our Twitter. There in the top right, link in the description. But number 30 was Eddie Jackson. He was 14 on my list. Again, my list was based off last year. NFL Networks, I always thought it was based on last year, but I don't really know at this point. I guess it's not too far off. Eddie Jackson was pretty dominant last year. I mean, they're in the wrong pretty much either way, because if it's based on last year, he's better than 30. I guess it's not a huge difference, like I said. But it's in general, I guess he's only had one really good year, so how do you rank him that high? But I guess I can see it. What I liked about him was, a lot of safeties kind of just end up in the right place, right time. Maybe it's on purpose, maybe it's on accident. A lot of them get tipped interceptions, lucky interceptions. Not Eddie Jackson, though. Eddie Jackson, I noticed, did a really, really good job reading the quarterback and reading his eyes. He kind of made quarterbacks look really bad at times, and they were decent quarterbacks. So, yeah, I liked his game last year, basically is what I'm saying. So, a little bit better rank on my list. And 29, George Kittle. I just want to say his name like that every time. I really don't know why, but George Kittle, 29, and then for me, 25. So, nice and close there. Really nothing to go over here. I guess maybe why I was a little higher on him. You know what? I really don't know, to be honest. Pretty much the same thing. I just thought he was, he had, it's not always about the stats, but he had the stat line of a receiver. Thought that was very impressive. The most impressive thing about him in general is he came in the league being like a blocker, and he developed that sneaky receiving ability. So that's what I love about him. And he kind of makes it a little better for the future tight ends like that. Tight ends that have that same build, and we're mainly blocking guys that are already polished blocking, so they can actually work on and develop a receiving game. It's kind of making me think those type of guys have the upside, So George Kittle, that's the tight end of the future right there. Number 28, Fletcher Cox, and then number 10 for me. How disrespectful of NFL Network to put him at 28. He's a top 10 player from last year. Dominant, interior pressure. That's the key two words there. Interior pressure. Pretty rare. And a game changer. Interior pressure. It doesn't take long to get to the quarterback, but it's so hard to get by these guards these days with all their holding, and and some of them are just really good, and maybe they don't have to hold. And Fletcher Cox gets it. He gets after the quarterback. He stops the run first at a high level, gets after the quarterback, changes the game, creates bad decisions from the quarterback. So he is number 10, and I thought it was too low for him to be at 28. So yell at NFL Network. Don't yell at me. Everyone needs to stop getting mad at me in the comments. Oh, God. Here we go. Jalen Ramsey, 27, 99 for good old Riz rankings. And I know everyone's going to yell at me. Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback in football. I know. He's probably number one in football. But my rankings, here's some news. My rankings were based off last year only. I thought he played a pretty good season. That's why he was in the top 100. Not his best season. He can do better. I thought he kind of gave up towards the end of the year, kind of made it known he was playing for pretty much himself. Was a little selfish, but all that at the bottom of the list, I don't want to hear it. 27 in general, going forward, I guess, right now, sure, but they don't make it sound like that's what the rankings are. Sometimes they do, most of the time they don't. I don't know, but I'm going to get ripped in the comments. And then Darius Leonard, 26, 16 for me, based off last year alone. I thought he did everything you can ask from a linebacker. From a rookie linebacker, he probably did too much. It's at the point where is getting a little scary. Like, even for the Colts, like, I don't know. You know, is he going to be able to do the same thing? I'm kidding. But is he going to be able to do the same thing? I don't see why not, but it's pretty ridiculous. He did that as a rookie, coming from a small school, NFL, did everything. You know, he brought some pressure to quarterback, was really good in coverage, tackling machine, pretty instinctive, which stood out. So 10 spots higher for me on my rankings, but I don't have a problem with 26. Not like Fletcher Cox, where I have a problem with somewhat. This one I really don't have a problem with, you know. It's whatever. 25, Russell Wilson. 11 for me. You know, I didn't rank a whole bunch of quarterbacks. When I did rank the top ones, I ranked them pretty high, and I got some in the end and some in the middle. Russell Wilson, I mean, you look at that Seahawks team. You know, Seahawks fans might get mad at me, but that team had really no business. Looking over the team really had no business being in the playoffs, but Russ happened. He got him to the playoffs. He's that good. He definitely belongs in the conversation up there. I mean, in terms of production stats, it's not 100% what it's all about, but I guess he could have done a little more. But I mean, pretty darn good season. I mean, I guess it's not, maybe that's the reason he's at 25. It's just weird seeing Russell Wilson. I just realized that now. Last year he was 11, and then for me 11 this year. So that's pretty cool, but it's weird seeing him with 25 next to his name, you know. Should be a little better, but I'm not going to cry about it. I think it's whatever, you know. It's not too far off, but he should be better than 25. 24. Oh, here we go again. KUECHLY is an elite linebacker. I know he's an elite middle linebacker. He's right there with Bobby Wagner for the top, but I got him at 65, which isn't bad. Top 100. It's tough to squeeze 100 players in there. He's right in the middle there at 65. I know he's at 24 for them, but you can see a little drop off last year. 12, 24 this year. Watching him, he didn't have his best season. You know, to nitpick it, you know, I seen him miss tackles he normally doesn't make. You know, I seen him, it didn't really look the same to me, but still really good enough to make the list. 65 in general, he's better than 65. But again, I don't want to hear it. My list is from what I saw last year. Yeah, and here we go again. Odell Goby Jobins is an elite receiver. Why do you have him not ranked? What are you doing? Well, he is an elite receiver. He's an elite athlete. 2018, 2019, that's what my rankings were based off of. Last year, regular season playoffs combined, he played 12 games. Pretty impressive statistics in 12 games, but he played 12 games. Didn't finish the full season. I only got to rank 11 guys, and he, you know, a little bit of a distraction that I don't like. I take that into account there. So, you know, I'm going to get it in the comments, but I really don't want to hear it. I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest. But 23 for NFL Network. That's surprising to me. I mean, maybe no one else is surprised, but that's ridiculous to me. I think he'll work out in Cleveland, though. We'll see. But distraction, missing games, so I don't want to hear about it. I know I'm going to get ripped. Whatever. 22, Stephon Gilmore. I had him at 27. I was surprised they had him a little higher than I did. You know, I was kind of a Stephon Gilmore guy. I thought people told me I had him pretty high, I thought, if I remember. But in the same area. Nothing crazy here. Yeah, I thought he was the top corner of last year. Thought it was pretty clear. For some reason, got dominated against Tennessee Titans, and that was about it, though. After that, he was shut down. Before and after that, he was a shutdown. So, yeah, that's where he belongs. I'm good with that one. 21, Travis KELCE, and I had him at 28, so pretty close. I thought he was very dominant for them. There was some moments here and there where, you know, he doesn't really do things by the, I don't know how, I was gonna say by the book. How do I put this? You know, he kind of relies on the athletic ability a little much. You know, he doesn't have precise routes or when the ball's in the air the way to track it, but he still gets away with it because of his athletic ability. Not that he can't. I'm not saying he can't do any of that. He's pretty darn solid at everything, pretty much you ask from a tight end. But I guess the nitpick and maybe why I didn't have him that high, I guess maybe that would be it. But we're pretty close here. Don't have a problem. Let's see if there's going to be any more yelling at me. I don't know if you guys like my impersonation of the viewers in the comments, even though I never hear you guys' voices. It's just a comment. Andrew, here we go again. Andrew Luck at 20. I got him at 59. I'm going to get ripped for that one. I mean, first year Andrew Luck's back. Pretty darn solid. I just don't think he was on the level of the other quarterbacks. I didn't give bonus points for them being quarterbacks, so I guess that's what comes in play here. I think people, for the most part, I guess I had Russell Wilson higher, but bonus points are given out because they're a quarterback. I didn't really do that. He still had a little more turnovers than you would like, but still a great, great season. And then, yeah, they had him all the way up at 20. I had him at 59, so that's where I felt like having him. I don't know what you guys would say for that one. I didn't impersonate anybody that time, but we'll see. I know I'll get ripped for more right there. TYREEK Hill, 19. I had him at 4. I thought he was that dominant. I thought he was always wide open, helped Mahomes out. Not that Mahomes really needs help. He's still going to be really good, but made it a lot easier. He can run any route, can catch the ball anywhere on the field, run after the catch. Great footwork at the line. I think that's in the speed. I think that's a great reason why the reason why he is open all the time. The only thing I don't want to talk about which it didn't count, but that Chargers game when he let the ball bounce off his face mask, I don't want to see any more of that. Even if he would have scored the touchdown there, which he should have, it would have got called back anyways. That's the only thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way about him. We shouldn't see that happen once, but it didn't count, so we're gonna forget about that. Other than that, was just electrifying and dominant. So I had him all the way up at 4. I'll probably get ripped for that one too. Number 18 was Zeke. I had him at 26. It's just all about how do you? It's the stupid part of the top 100. I think somebody put in the comments in the first episode was a good point. The stupid part of the top 100 is how do you just rank these players with other position groups? You can't really do it. It's hard to split them up. So I think that's what happened here. That's why there's a difference. Don't really have a problem with the 18 rank though. We'll see if Zeke's playing for the Cowboys this year, playing at all. Will they make the playoffs if they don't have him? It's going to be interesting if he's out. They did draft Tony Pollard and Mike Weber. Going to be an interesting season. We'll see. Unless it's just bluffing and somebody's going to give in, we'll figure it out. 17 Rivers. I had him all the way up at 8. I do combine regular season and playoffs, which I think maybe the last game or two of the regular season and the playoff games, he wasn't as good as he was most of the regular season, like 90% of the regular season or more. But he was absolutely dominant. I thought pretty much the whole regular season there. He was very safe with the ball, throwing the ball downfield. Looks like he didn't lose any arm strength at all, any arm talent at all. Really blew me away. He's an MVP candidate pretty much the whole year. Yeah, then just the last game or two, and then the playoff games just kind of went downhill. But regular season makes up majority of the season, so that's why he was up at 8 for me. I thought it was one of his better seasons, in full. I wish it was a little better at the end there. That's why he was at 8 for me. Number 16 was Saquon Barkley. Oh, here we go again. And then I had him at 43. I love Saquon Barkley's game, but everyone's gonna just let me have it. He's a great running back. He might be the best running back this year. He's gonna be the best running back this year. How do you have him all the way down 43? Well, guess what? Here's some news. Breaking news. My rankings were based off last season. I think people are kind of a little blinded what the glimpses we got and what he's going to be. He had a great season. That's why he was 43. It wasn't as good as you think. It was really good, but it wasn't. He wasn't better than Zeke. Come on now. So that's why he was at 43, where he belongs. So last year's rankings. Think about last year. It was great, especially great for a rookie. You don't get bonus points for doing great as a rookie. But 16's too high. Going forward, sure. Whatever. That's where he's going to be. He's probably going to be top 10 going forward, honestly. But based off last year, I had him at 43. 15 was Bobby Wagner. I had him at 7. Even though it's pretty close, I think it's a little disrespectful. I thought he was easily a top 10 player. When you see a middle linebacker be like I know they have Russell Wilson taking over, but there's some games where he didn't do a whole bunch. And when do you see a middle linebacker being the reason you won the game? When do you see that? It was very dominant. I think the best middle linebacker in football. I've been saying that for years. Finally, we're starting to see some other people that think so. I know KUECHLY's great, very instinctive. I just think Bobby Wagner's is the best. I think he's a top 10 player easily. That's why I had him at 7. So, we saw games where he just like won it for the Seahawks. A middle linebacker we're talking about. So, remember the Vikings game, even though he may have done something illegal jumping over lineman on the field goal. But not only that play, he was making some big plays all over the place in that game, in a defensive battle. So, in multiple games, more games than that. So, Bobby Wagner was top 10 player. 14 is Alvin Kamara. Whoa, I got him at 51. That's where he belongs based off last year. I'm big time Alvin Kamara supporter. He's one of my biggest draft hits of all time. If you remember, I was getting ripped for saying he was a first round running back, and so I'm a big Kamara supporter for that reason. I was high on the draft, had a draft crush then, and I appreciate him for making me right. But last year, maybe I expected a little more, and he was very good. Obviously, 51, right in the middle of the top 100. Again, there's more than 100 great players. Tough to rank 100. 14. I mean, once he wasn't better than Zeke last year, and I was a little lower on Zeke than they were too, and they still had running backs that I was lower on than Zeke. So I think 14 is a little high. I think this is where he's probably heading, and I'm a big supporter. I just think based off last year, 51 is just right around where he should be. So let me have it. 13, look at that. Look at that. Another match. We had 2 receivers that matched in this top 100. Mike Evans, I think it was 53, if I remember correctly. Myself and NFL Network had him at the same rank, and now we got number 13, Michael Thomas, at number 13 for NFL Network and at 13 for my rankings. A lot of 13 straight across the board there. That's crazy. Is that why he was 13? Because he's number 13? No, that's not. For me, maybe the NFL Network did that. Maybe the players voted to make him exactly 13 because he's not. No. But that's pretty crazy that happened a second time. I was hoping it happened once. I got Phillip Lindsay like one off. I'm like, that kind of made it pop in my head. I need to get one right. There has to be one right here. And then I was making the graphics for Mike Evans, and I was like, and I thought he was around that rank, and then he ended up being, and then as soon as I knew right away. I remember Michael Thomas was 13 for me, so it just ended up being the same. And he could even get, look at that jump, 81-13, so he can even get better. Just got that big contract extension this morning. Definitely deserving. That's crazy. Number 12, J.J. Watt, I had at 21. I wouldn't put him this high. Even though it's pretty close, I wouldn't put him this high because he would, even though he had a good amount of sacks and he was a dominant player. I mean, obviously, I think highly of him. I had him at 21, but there was times where he'd disappear a little bit, especially like later in games. The playoff game wasn't really good for him either. There's a lot of times I just felt like Clowney was kind of carrying the team, but then Watt had, I guess, the more impact plays and more of the stats. So 12 is a little high, but it's really not that far off. And then here we go. Instead of yelling at me, we can yell at NFL Network or whoever the players were that supposedly voted for this. I don't know if it actually is true. How many players, which players? I don't really get it. What it's based off of, by their name, by who has the most friends on Facebook, maybe, or on Twitter, followers on Twitter. I don't know. But DeAndre Hopkins, 11, easily should be in the top 10. You see, I had him at 3. Once again, not a big gap between 3 and 11, but really there is. Once you start getting up there, it's big. It's big time. And I think he belonged. Really, if he was outside the top 8, I would still be ripping them. Even maybe 7 or 6. He definitely belonged as a better rank. I think Antonio Brown still left, Julio Jones still left, DeAndre Hopkins. It's crazy, these rankings. So all that ripping you're doing about what I said in this video and where my ranks are in the comments, we can turn that over and kind of focus on NFL Network now and whoever makes this list for this one, because this is a bad one to me. Even though it doesn't look like too much of a gap, it's a bad one. He should be up there. I mean, I had him at 3. So we'll see who could be on. Will be on. We'll just be honest here. Alphabetical order here, so don't be thinking this is my rankings or anybody's rankings here. These are the 10 players expected to hear in tonight's episode, which we'll do the same video on those guys. And then after that, we will do a video on who should have been on the list or was on my list that wasn't on NFL Network's list. But these are the 10 guys. So what I want to see, besides all that ripping you're giving me in the comments, that I want to see who you are predicting. You can make 2 rankings, or you can make 1. Who should be the top 10 using these 10, or who will be the top 10, what you're predicting. Maybe you're predicting them to blow it somehow, Give me the top 10 on what you're expecting maybe. So these are the guys, and let me tell you something. I don't agree with these guys no matter what. I don't agree with this 10 no matter what the rankings is based off. If it's based off last year, it's wrong. If it's based on going forward, to me it's wrong. I guess that's my opinion, so I'm not saying, whoever's voting is an idiot. Maybe sometimes. But I just don't agree with it. I don't want to give anything away. We'll kind of show my rankings when they come out, but in that video. But I mean, if Antonio Brown and Julio Jones here, should DeAndre Hopkins be in here? I mean, the obvious ones are Donald, Khalil Mack, Patrick Mahomes. Well, I don't know if Khalil Mack was top 10 based off last year alone. He was very good, huge impact for the Bears, and I know he's probably in my opinion, in general, the second best player in football. But was he top 10 based off last year? I mean, he definitely made a huge impact. I mean, Von Miller, can you argue him? Same with Brady. It's not surprising Brady's up here because he's Tom Brady, won a Super Bowl, but based off his play last year, same thing with Rodgers, same thing with the quarterbacks. Yeah, Breeze, understandable why he's up here. Antonio Brown, so a lot of these guys, you can argue it. So we'll see. I want to see your guys' predictions, who should be or will be the top 10 in what order. Again, this is an alphabetical order, so don't get any don't let me have it for something I don't deserve in the comments here. But it's going to do it for this one. One more of these, then we'll talk about in a separate video, talk about the snubs. So can't wait for all that. More predictions and rankings on the way leading up to the season, then full coverage in season. I'm going to make a video when I get the schedule out, ready to go. We're going to make a video. We got some big news coming too. Some things we're working on, some bonus content possibly, all kinds of stuff in the works. We'll keep you posted. That's going to do it for this one. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.